blessed day to everyone.
Thank you, same to you.
Thank you very much. My name again is Patricia Brady Danzig, and I am a sometime organist at Second Presbyterian Church,
I'm sorry, where do you reside?
South Orange.
Oh, okay, but you're representing
I'm representing the church.
the address for the church?
East Jersey Street, I've forgotten the number.
Okay.
Second Presbyterian
Right
Church.
there in the middle of the block? Right.
Yes, ma'am,
Okay,
right
thank you.
around the corner.
I think it's 11.
I'm here as chair of the capital campaign for the church. There are many parts of the church that need repairs. And the kickoff event is a grand organ concert on Sunday, May 3rd at 4 o'clock. And we're also having a young tenor and a baritone, and we're having the children's choir from the Institute of Music right here in Elizabeth. We're also at that time having a renowned historian who has not been named as yet, but he's going to tell us about the 350th anniversary of Elizabeth. And the church will be celebrating 195 years. The organist that we have is Dr. Stephen Ball, and he is the organist at the Boardwalk Hall, Atlantic City. He's a very famous organist, and he's going to play a wonderful varied program.
Do you have extras of those?
Yes, I can
Okay,
give you all that
great.
stuff. I'm really here to follow up on a couple of emails that I sent around, and I'm sure you get hundreds of them. We're hoping that the city council might be interested in making a contribution to the concert event. Our goal is $25,000. We need only $9,000 more, so we'll accept any amount, and of course you will be listed on the program and any publicity that we do. So it is for the benefit of the church. We also, as I say, will be publicizing the history of the city of Elizabeth. And I'm very, very proud to be chair of this capital campaign. I hope you'll join us.
Thank you for the information.
My
And
pleasure.
It's good that we have our director here, Eduardo Rodriguez. Eduardo, can you interface your information with her and try to...
This is my email. I'm going to give you one of my cards to
Okay, but
everybody.
you can talk to the director right there, because he's in charge of our Block Grant Fund.
Thank you very much. Oh, I saw your name on the...
Question, I'm in a meeting, I have to call you later, okay? Bye.
Thank you very much.
Are you selling
Thank you,
any
sir.
raffles or anything?
No, we're not going to do that.
Okay.
We're doing a door prize because we don't want to get into money, because then you have to get all kinds of permits.
Okay.
Maybe we ask underwriters for any amount up to 1,000, 2,000, whatever.
Just
or-
make an appointment with our director here.
Yeah.
It's great. Just make an appointment with the director.
And one of my cards. This is not to do with the church, but it has all my email and all that stuff.
Can you recognize Councilman Policy?
Thank you very much, Madam Chairman.
Okay, you're welcome.
Sorry.
One with the stones by the dime or the other by...
Okay, are there any other residents
Thank you.
or taxpayers wishing to address city
This
council?
is the letter that I had sent back in February.
You have my email, so you want to introduce with
Cadaretto
Look, he looked up. Hold on.
Okay, director, you wanna go now?
Sure. In terms of the East Grand Supermarket development,
You sure?
yeah, there was some questions regarding this project over here. in
Excuse
terms
me,
of-
I'm gonna intercession, just to stand here.
Oh, sure.
So we can see.
In terms of, I received 4 questions from you, Councilwoman, regarding the supermarket development over on East Grand and Division Street. First was regarding to the tenants for the site. I can confirm for you right now, we have Food Town, Dollar General, and a laundromat, and a Popeyes has signed a letter of intent. So about 70% of the site is pre-leased before they started construction there. The total square footage.
For Food Town?
Food Town? Not lease, it's a signed letter of intent.
Oh, okay, so, okay.
Food Town, Dollar General, laundromat, and a Popeyes. And I know they're currently trying to get a bank on there also. And about 70% is lease. 70% has signed a letter of intent. So the total square footage is about 57,000 feet, 50,000 square feet.
Okay, go ahead, what else do you have?
Oh, no, go ahead. Is there?
No, go ahead, what else do you have?
The job will be done union. The approximations I have are 18 to 21 million dollars at total construction cost.
So it's gonna be, you said a union job?
Yes, it is. They're gonna sign up,
Not prevailing wage, you said union.
union and also prevailing wage, yes.
'Cause there's
That
a
was
big
my second
difference.
bullet, but yes, I know,
Okay, so you said it's gonna be a union job?
which pays prevailing wage, that's correct, which
No,
pays
those
the
are two
union
different
state.
things, sweetheart.
Correct, the union is, it is gonna be signed union, I do have a follow-up email from him, and it is going to be, done, they're gonna sign a project labor agreement on that site there.
So they're gonna sign a project labor agreement?
Yes.
Which doesn't mean it's gonna be union.
Like I said, I have
Okay.
an affirmative answer, we plan to bid this job union, and that's according to their attorney from Silas Covers.
Okay. One of my, another concern is that, like, the administration of, like, if they're gonna be programs that deal with hiring people in the community, like a first source agreement to hire Elizabeth residents.
Yes, it's an Article 27, the first source employment, page 30 of the redevelopment agreement.
Do you have a copy?
EDCs?
Can I see it?
I do not, I can definitely email it to you, I have it on file.
Okay.
I did not bring it. And EDC is going to be administering that. They have the list of the local qualified people in the actual city, and they're going to be administering that with the redeveloper.
Okay, I would really like to see the nuts and bolts of it. Because the only reason I'm saying is because going forward, a lot of times we have these big projects and then we always get concerns about the people in the community that are not even being considered. You know, you always have workers coming from different parts of the state and sometimes coming from Pennsylvania or other locations. And we really have to do our due diligence to make sure that our local residents get first source in terms of the pre-construction, the construction stage, and then when the project is finally completed.
Absolutely. I know EDC is administering that, and if anybody does want to sign up and get pre-qualified, I think it's Mario and the team over there are in charge of, I guess, creating the list of...
Now, how soon is that gonna begin? Because I have like a whole lot of people that wanna sign up.
Okay.
I mean,
I can definitely get you that
I need the
contact.
time, yeah, I need a timeline
Okay.
in terms of,
Well, I believe the list is ongoing. From what they told me, I believe, from my understanding, they have a couple hundred people on the list already.
for this job.
I don't think this list is just for this job here. I think it's just for local, actually, residents here in the city. I can follow up with them and get more information on that list.
I would welcome, yeah, we probably have to have a meeting with them, because I
Okay.
really wanna make sure we try to, make sure our residents get in on the
Yeah.
ground floor and not
Absolutely.
3 or 6 months from start of the project, and then no one doesn't know who's on first and what's on second. Yes, Councilman?
Yeah, thank you. Director, is EDC, are they the only ones that's gonna be assisting with finding Elizabeth residents?
From my
Helping
understanding,
employment?
yes.
Yeah? Can others be? Like, I know we have the Workforce Investment Board here. Also, can they be part of that or assist with that?
I can follow up on that.
Identify
Yeah.
Elizabeth residents?
Okay. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions, gentlemen? Yes.
Do we, what kind of a tax incentive we give this corporation and this company, that kind of thing?
they're gonna have a pilot on this site, I believe,
Yeah, well-
for 30 years?
Yeah, well, we're working on that now. It still has to be finalized. We're still in the negotiation stage here. But remember that the property's vacant, hasn't been drawing any taxes, and will be drawing at least, I'd say maybe $300,000-400,000 at least, but we're still negotiating that, plus the jobs and there, and you know, it's a wonderful, wonderful
How many
project.
jobs? For, pre-construction and then post?
Pre-construction, it was approximately about 100 to 150. Post-construction, they're looking, depending if they get a bank or what the other 30% will be leased on there, anywhere from 70 to 100 jobs at full time. Yes. But again, that's gonna depend on what the other 30% is leased on that.
Well, we don't know if they're all full-time, because the supermarkets, they hire people part-time.
Well, it's
And the
full-time,
Dollar General, they
full-time
hire
equivalents.
people part-time.
It's gonna be more people overall, but I guess how they do the calculations of full-time equivalents.
Fine.
Okay, yes, go
I
ahead.
don't finish. We did award a contract already to some kind of a company that will be in charge of this particular 3 or 4 acres of land that we,
Well, it's the developer.
right,
And
that's the developer. He will be the person responsible for all the expenses, 18 to 21 million dollar, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then, like you said, we might have a future group of people coming in that are willing to invest inside those 3.5 acres.
Yeah, they'll be leasing from the developer.
Yeah, they're leased.
Like Keytown.
But the
70%
responsible
over.
person is the one that signed the contract. I mean, we had a couple of guys that came in and then they went out, they came in, they went out. Now we finally have
Yeah.
that we awarded, right? But we
Yeah.
still,
Yeah, well, the director has the, what they call Form 2.92, I guess, with all the principal owners of the business, and that'll be included in the financial agreement and in their application. And
Yeah, there's many different investors here, but I know
Some different
the,
investors, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, what the city has, and council has approved already, the city's contribution, remember, we went through a couple of $1 million worth of environmental
right,
costs.
I remember.
Brings up that property. We're also contributing 1.4 million to different grants, if you will, 900,000 and 500,000, but into aid in the construction of the project. Plus, they have their own private equity contribution and bank loans. That'll all be broken down in the application and financial agreement.
And this,
So-
director, this will go up in a couple of years now, effective immediately, like 2
Yes,
years?
I mean, I
will
know,
go
well-
over and whatever.
Also, Tony, as I mentioned, they're purchasing the property from us for 3.1 million, and at least something I've been seeing before, the developer's personally guaranteeing the construction of the project. In terms of the leasing and everything like that, so I thought that was something I haven't seen before that. Mind I'm only here for about 11 months, but he is personally
They all
guaranteeing it.
guaranteed the construction of the project.
No, but not a personal guarantee. Most just do the LLC, they'll fund it with what money they have. He did personally guarantee this.
It's
And
nice.
it's actually George Jacobs, so yes, I thought that was a
Pretty
big
nice. That's
incentive.
good.
Yeah, and as the director mentioned,
He didn't guarantee the leasing, which is a separate story, but at least to get it built, so.
As the director mentioned, the sale of the property is 3.1 million, and that'll be money that'll be used to generate surplus for next year's budget, so hopefully it's completed by June 30th.
That most interesting with some of those people that are, in case we have to give a job, so I mean, we have an area that's
I will definitely follow up with that with DDC and get more information on that, what the agreement is, what the lists are. And I'll gladly, if it's all council or just actually Madam President, in terms of meeting with EDC, I'm doing that, incorporating what you had said. You know, the more the merrier, I think, so I think that's a good idea. I just don't know what the policy is with EDC, if we're gonna be stepping on their toes or not, but that is definitely something I can follow up on.
Councilman Torres?
Yeah, I know we have several projects going around in the future in the city. Can we make this basically like a blueprint for future projects here in the city of Elizabeth? I know Charlem Hope was able to take a couple of
Yes.
residents and teach them the trade, and they got, you know, they got to be able to work and learn the experience and so I was wondering if, you know, for future projects, can we actually, I don't know, maybe sit down and talk to EDC and live on Elizabeth Avenue and make this something that we want here in the city of Elizabeth for our residents to able to get first dibs, basically.
But I think Armando, and I think he did a great job, he was actually able to work with the union to get people trained in the union and work in the union
Correct.
here. I think these jobs here, more the first source, are for the jobs, I think, for the least places, for the least spaces on there. I can follow up in terms of see what they're gonna do with the construction jobs, but that's mostly working with the unions, and I don't know where the developer really sits with the unions there, but it's definitely something I can follow up on.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Councilman Torres, because that was my thought in asking the director to appear before us. A lot of times these projects, they get off the ground before we even understand what's going on, and then our residents are left out of the process. And there are some who want to go into pre-construction, you know, that's good hard work, and there's a lot of men and women who like it. They're paying prevailing wages and or union wages, you know, then it's a livable wage where they can feed their families. So that was my thought process is that we begin to develop a model under your leadership, Director. And that's what this is all about.
A perfect example was the contractor that did the slabs for all the parks. Jackson Park, Carteret Park, they removed all the concrete. I know in my ward, they actually took one person and was able to work with them, and actually it worked very well. He was actually able to have a job, go there every day, and
An internship.
And the experience, yeah.
basically.
That's great.
But
Or an apprenticeship, whatever they call it, or journeyman, whatever they call it. But yeah, we have to begin to advocate for that. That's the only way, you know.
No, and that's something, I've actually had preliminary discussions with Bill O'Day, because I know Jersey City does it now there. Obviously, I think there's a little more construction going on there than here, in terms of the high rises, but it is something that I've sat down and spoken with him about. So it's something I can definitely at least try to incorporate for this side and actually moving forward.
Well, we
for
need the
Midtown.
infrastructure in place to make sure that that can happen. You know, there has to be a workforce development infrastructure in place. As Councilman Gonzalez stated, the WID, you know, do they have a workforce investment in place where they can make sure those things are being done? Last thing I want to talk about is what is the city on the hook for? I heard some grants.
Well, it's actually passed council already. It was for
Yeah, but I'm
900,000
saying worst
something.
case scenario. And, you know, we don't look for worst case scenarios, but they are worst case scenarios. Say worst case scenario, something happens, what are we on the hook for in terms of, is it 1.4 million, 5 million? Because, you know, we have been down this road before. Some of you know, my colleagues who've been here for a day or two. You know, what are we on the hook for? Is it 1 million, is it 1.5 million, 1.4 million, 2 million?
Yeah, 1.4.
It's just the 1.4 million, that's it?
But if you want to net it out with the purchase proceeds also, so it depends. I mean, we're getting 3.1, we're
No,
going
but
to
that,
back
that's, no,
1.4.
but what I'm saying is that if it's grant money, or if it's UEZ money, or any other type of money, that if the project is not fully realized, then what is the city on the hook for? That's what I'm trying to say. What is the amount? Is it just a 1.4 million? Okay, that's fine. It's no net out, because once that money is given to the city, we utilizing it. So 3 or 4 or 5 months, 3 or 4, 5, 6, 7 years from now, if the project, whatever, what are we on the hook for? Because we're always on the hook for something. It's an amount, and that's all. I just want to make sure that amount is not 3, 4, 5, 6 million. If it's 1.4 million, 1.5 million, You know, everyone know, you know. what
I
I'm
guess
talking
my
about.
question is, I guess a grant, it's gone. Once it's expended, I mean, it'll be personally guaranteed by the developer and everything like that, but that's out the door, and that's why you have the 3.1 coming in. So I guess, in terms of what we're gonna be out, once we grant the money, I think it's done.
No.
It's not, we're on the
Let me-
hook for it. Oh,
No,
sure,
we
sure.
are on the hook for it,
Okay.
if the project is not for some unforeseeable, crazy
Oh, yes, that's
reason.
true, yes,
If the project, you know, God forbid, doesn't go forward, we're
yes,
on the hook, and that's all I know the amount, that's all I'm saying.
definitely.
Because that's with every project.
Yeah, well, that's going towards the construction, so as the construction goes on, they'll be drawing down on that, those dollar amounts, so.
I just want to thank the councilwoman for bringing the director in. I personally would have held you here to the end.
Thank you.
Madam,
Yeah.
can we bring him next week also, please?
Yes,
Thank you.
many times in your
Part of the regular schedule.
Without a problem, I know
You did
that's the
such a
county
great
model
job.
over there, so that's not a problem at all.
That's it.
My pleasure, I apologize, I couldn't make it last time, but my son was sick, so I'm better late than never, so,
We're all parents.
absolutely. All right,
Thank you.
good night, everybody. Thank you.
Okay, you know,
Letter dated March 13, 2015, from the Business Administrator requesting authorization for the proper city officials to enter into and execute an agreement with EMS Charts, Inc., Warrendale, Pennsylvania, to continue to create, maintain, access, manage, and report information relating to emergency medical care, transport, and other medical services regarding billing issues from 2013 and 2014 for a one-year period from the date the agreement is executed in the amount of $1,129.
any questions? Put it on.
Letter dated March 13, 2015, from the Business Administrator recommending awarding a contract to Allied Oil LLC, Hillsborough, New Jersey, for the purchase of gasoline for the Public Works Marina for the period February 28, 2015 through February 29, 2016, at a cost not to exceed $125,000.
Any questions? Okay, put it on.
Letter dated March 16, 2015, from the Business Administrator, requesting that City Council reject all bids received February 27, 2015, for the demolition of a structure located at 206 South Second Street for the Construction Department, and authorize the purchasing agent to re-advertise with revised specifications.
Any questions? Okay, put it on.
Letter dated March 16, 2015, from the Business Administrator requesting authorization for the proper city officials to apply, accept, and sign all appropriate documents for the New Jersey Department of Law and Public Safety Highway Traffic Safety Distracted Driving Crackdown Grant to crack down on motorists who text and drive, and there's other things as far as eating, tending to children, etc., for an amount not to exceed $5,000.
Any questions? No, that means you gotta be careful.
Turning on the radio,
Traffic
CD
safety.
player.
Texting, talking on the phone, just a little bit of everything.
Talking about that.
Some people eat, some people
Comb their
put their
hair.
makeup on.
I put
right?
makeup on like that.
Hey, makeup. Turning on the radio?
Kissing your boyfriend while you're driving,
I don't have that problem.
You ready?
Yes.
Have any questions? Okay.
Okay.
Letter dated February 24, 2015, from Chief Financial Officer requesting authorization for the tax collector to cancel refund credit and overbilling of taxes for 2014 tax year on the property located at 113, 115 Elizabeth Avenue in the sum of $1,367.06.
Any questions? Put it on.
Letter dated March 17, 2015, from Chief Financial Officer advising that additional grants may be appropriated in the 2015 state fiscal year budget by budget amendments, Chapter 159.
Any questions? Put it on.
Letter dated March 17, 2015, from the Chief Financial Officer advising that in compliance with the State Fiscal Year 2012 Appropriations Act, it requires that your honorable body approve all payments related to accumulated uncompensated absence benefits.
Any questions?
Yeah,
Yes, Councilman.
Tony, what is the average day for an employee in City Hall that gets refunded at the end of whenever they retire? What's per day?
Whatever their salaries are.
Whatever the salary, so they change according to the
Yeah, sure,
salary.
and whatever they've accumulated on books as far as vacation time, sick time, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So That's
It's
accumulation.
different.
Yeah, everything's different.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
Thank you.
Letter dated March 17, 2015, from Chief Financial Officer advising that in compliance with State Fiscal Year 2012 Appropriations Act, it requires that your honorable body discuss once annually an assessment of the authorities the city has created, namely the Elizabeth Parking Authority and the Elizabeth Housing Authority, whether they have addressed the public need to fulfill their mission.
Yeah, if I may.
Sure.
Yeah, this is something new. It's a requirement this year for the best practices inventory. We have to file by April 1st. I requested the Housing Authority and the Parking Authority to provide information which is attached to your memo. And it just lists their functions, their mission, their accomplishments, and their objectives. This has to be on an annual discussion, so hopefully this will be on for next week. Just a brief review and discussion as to whether they've justified basically their existence.
Any questions?
Does something happen that you're requesting this information now?
Oh, the state's requested.
The state?
Yeah, it's a best practice. We have 50 questions on your best practice inventory we have to file every year. And this is a new one. They have 14 new questions. This is one of them. So we try to address it as soon as we can. And frankly, I don't think there would be any problem with the Parking Authority and Housing Authority. So,
And when did this law come into effect? Now?
no, the law goes back in 2012. It's in the memo. Okay, but they add the questions on every year, different questions, and this just happens to be one of them.
And we are in good shape.
Yeah, well, I'll
Well,
be
that's
discussing with
great.
the council if you have any problems with it.
After we read this back.
Yeah, yeah, they have information from both the directors. They're operating in context with their mission, I say, and also financially sound, so.
Good.
Yeah, Mr. President.
Any other questions?
I just want to mention, as for the Housing Authority at least,
Mhm.
this information is also available on their website.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah, and
website.
right, they have quite a bit, and most of it
And this is.
included in there, yeah. And Parking Authority, the director, Gomez, has provided her write-up of
Yeah.
I see.
the latest incentives that they have. so.
I don't have a
Would be
website.
included.
Who?
Parking?
Nothing. I guess I just found it.
Yeah, the purpose for the question is that some authorities within the state of Louisville have been mismanaged, and they just want to make sure that council is aware
Yeah.
of the operations of these authorities and that they're operating properly and
It's good.
financially sound.
Well, we never had any problem in all those years, so.
And this could affect our state aid, right?
Yeah, sure, yeah, you have to,
So,
I mean, you just want to comply because
Yeah,
it's
it's
good.
the right thing to do,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, we'll put it on.
Letter dated March 17, 2015, from Chief Financial Officer recommending to reintroduce and approve resolutions that would have allowed the city to fund $5.4 million through the 2015 New Jersey Environmental Infrastructure Trust financing program at interest rates lower than market rates in respect of the joint meeting of the Essex and Union Counties Capital Assessment Program.
Any
Yeah, if I may.
questions?
Okay.
I think everyone knows what,
What it's about?
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Letter dated March 17, 2015, from the Director of Health and Human Services requesting to declare April 6, 2015 to April 11, 2015 as National Public Health Week.
Any questions? Put it on.
Letter dated March 16, 2015, from the Director of Planning and Community Development, authorizing proper city officials to execute any and all documents necessary and appropriate to provide a rental housing program deferred payment loan on the property located at 1014 Anna Street in the amount of $120,000.
Any questions? Put it on.
Letter dated March 11, 2015, from the Director of Public Works requesting permission to have liens placed against properties listed on Schedule A attached here to for the boarding up of properties in the amount of $344.30.
Any questions? Put it on.
Letter dated March 11, 2015, from the Director of Public Works requesting permission to have liens placed against properties listed on Schedule A attached here to for the removal of ice and snow from said properties in the amount of $960.49.
Any questions? Put them on.
Letter dated March 13, 2015, from the Director of Public Works recommending awarding a contract to ANS Consultants, Inc., Plainfield, New Jersey, to provide material testing and inspection services on a time and material basis for actual time and expenses in connection with Engine Company Number 6 Construction, 472 Catherine Street, at a cost not to exceed $52,110 plus reimbursables.
Any questions?
The groundbreaking?
Yeah, the comment.
Yeah.
Letter dated March 13, 2015, from the Director of Public Works recommending awarding a contract to Hatchmont McDonald, Island, New Jersey, to provide engineering and field services during construction, including conducting meeting review of submittals and shop drawings, full-time inspection and administrative services on a time and material basis in connection with the Trumbull Street Flood Control Project, construction phase engineering services at a cost not to exceed $325,000 and a lump sum of $8,050 to prepare the preliminary assessment for a total contract award of $333,050 plus reimbursables.
Okay, any questions? Oh, this is first. Okay, put it on.
A letter dated March 16, 2015, from the Director of Public Works recommending awarding a contract to Hatchmont McDonald, Island, New Jersey, to provide professional engineering services in connection with the review of sewer applications for a one-year period at no cost to the city.
Okay, any questions? Okay, put it on.
Okay. Councilman Torres has requested a personalized handicap parking space for 227 Pine Street, and Councilman Ballman has requested a regular handicap parking for 1071 Anna Street. Letter dated,
I'm so sorry, Yolanda, and the one that the one on Kilson Road,
on Killside?
yeah,
Okay. Oh, she
I had
didn't
mentioned
put
it to
in.
you.
Yeah,
they
she
could be
didn't put
added
it in
to.
my folder, yeah,
Thank you, Madam Secretary.
okay. Letter dated March 11, 2015, from the city treasurer, submitting the treasurer's report of receipts and disbursements for the month of October 2014, a statement of bank balances and investments as of October 31st, 2014. Councilman Mazza has requested a commendation for Darcy Del Castillo. Okay. Councilwoman Perkins Dusty has requested a commendation for Elizabeth Police Officer Howard Decker.
Oh yeah, that's the one
Found
from
it.
the kid on my. It was on my block. I was gonna ask for something too, but from the kid on my block.
Yeah, he found the
My-
guy with the autism, the little boy.
Okay.
Thank you.
As you remember, at the regular meeting last week, a gentleman by the name of Mr. George Stafford came forward to discuss the New Jersey Highlands, and in front of you, there is a sample resolution for consideration.
We can put it on the agenda as a new motion to call the city clerk.
Okay?
Okay, yeah, we'll put it on.
A letter received from the Director of Health and Human Services regarding amending dogs and other animals was put on hold. Is that still going to remain on hold?
Yeah, what was it? Did we make some changes? Were there some changes made?
Well, I don't see any.
You did.
I emailed them before I went on my trip. I have not heard anything back from them. I don't know if anything has been done on it.
No, man, just speak to the administration about making some changes.
I know one of them was, no fees for surrenders if you live in the city of Elizabeth.
And no fees for rental of the,
Trash.
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 Cause I think
Right.
we don't.
Track rental
Did make
removed.
corrections?
I didn't make any corrections, but I did email the people that were working on it, both in the health department and my department. I don't know what progress they've made on it. though.
We can put it on and see if we can get it in a day or two. If not, we'll take it off. If we don't have it,
Okay.
everything by
I
Friday.
can just take it off.
It's easy
Okay.
to do it.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you. I can just speak to them about it.
Okay. The mutual aid response for Newark International Airport from the fire director was put on hold. That was to authorize proper city officials to sign a memorandum of understanding for mutual aid response by the City of Elizabeth Fire Department
Wasn't there
to
some more
Newark
questions?
Airport.
There were some questions. Have we done this before? Have we ever done, this is the first time we've done it?
Check if it's the first one.
Check and see if it's the first time.
I think we do have, because I can remember.
That Councilman Rowland has
Had
a question about
questions.
that. I remember that.
Like the cost and everything, because there was a lot of things stipulated, like you had to call them before you came, and all that type of fun.
I'll see if it's not answers to it. And then give it to Tony.
Okay, because he doesn't see it.
Yeah, we got that. Oh, a couple weeks ago.
Councilman Mazza, I believe, put a hold on West End Place, no parking on the east side.
Put them on, sure.
Put it on?
Thank you.
Okay. So what is mutual
You
aid?
can see if you're down in front of you, I don't recall doing that.
Okay. Now we have to go into closed session.
Councilman, we can go to a closed session.
All right, let me read my card here.
I got full phone call.
Whereas the Open Public Meetings Act, PL 1975, Chapter 231, permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances. And whereas this public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist. And whereas the governing body wishes to discuss a matter falling within the attorney-client privilege. Minutes will be kept, and once the matter involving the confidentiality of the above no longer requires that confidentiality, then the minutes can be made public. Now therefore be it resolved that the public be excluded from this meeting. Councilman Questa?
Aye.
Councilman Torres?
Aye.
Councilman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilman Canary?
Aye.
Councilman Sedano?
Aye.
Councilman Mazza?
Aye.
President Perkins Dusty?
Aye.